So our today topic is historical research. What are the outline that we will learn today about the introduction of the historical research, that how it is designed and what is the history, as well as the scope of historical research, formulation of problem for historical research, and historical sources like primary source of data and secondary source of data. Next is historical criticism, like they have two type of criticism, external criticism and internal criticism, and the last is strength and weakness of the historical research. So all are these points we will discuss in today's lecture. Now, what is history? As we see in the slide, that they have different tradition or different time periods mentioned in the picture. So this is called history. Now, what is the definition of the history? The study of the past, particularly how it relates to humans. So it is an umbrella term that relates to the past event as well as the memory, discovery, collection, organization, presentation, and interpretation of information about these events is called history. Now, what is the historical research? A systematic collection and evaluation of data to describe, explain, and thereby understand action or event that occurred sometime in the past is called a historical research, that we systematically collect and evaluate it, judge it, maintain it. Now, no manipulation or control of variable, and primarily focuses in the past. So, the purpose of historical research is to make people aware of what has happened in the past so they may learn from the past failures and successes, to test hypotheses concerning a relationship or trend, and to assist in prediction is called the purpose of the historical research. Now, there are some examples included of the historical research, that how were students educated in the South during the Civil War. So, how have working condition for teachers changed since 1900, and what was the instruction like a typical fourth grade classroom 100 years ago? There are some other examples, that what were the major discipline problem in school in 1940 as compared to today. So these are all the example of the historical research. Now, what is the scope of historical research? Like history embraces the entire field of human past and is broad as life itself. So our human past include many areas of social experiences and activities that frequently have proved more significant than political history or military campaigns. So, for example, cultural ideas, institutions, law, religion, literature, art, travel, engineering, industry, technology, and medicine, science, philosophy, economics, education, philosophy, psychology, anthropology, and sociology. All are the example. There are some characteristics of historical research, like aim for critical search for truth, and the aim of contemporary history is to conceptualize, textualize, and historicize to explain it. Now, there are no agreed definition of what time period constituted contemporary history has existed or can exist. It is a flowing, vibrant report of the past event which involve an analysis and explanation of these occurrences with the objective of recapturing the nuances, personalities, and ideas that influence these events. Formulation of problem for historical research. Like historical research in historiography involves three major steps. The first step is collection of data from primary sources as well as from secondary sources. The second is criticism of the data, like external criticism and internal criticism. And the third is presentation of facts in a readable narrative form. These are the three steps, or the major steps of the formulation of problem for the historical research. There are historical sources. The first is primary source, the second is secondary source. Classification of historical sources, we will discuss the primary source first. Like a primary source is regarded as the source of the best evidence, is called primary source. So example include that one prepared by an individual who a participant was in a direct witness to the event being described in the, is called the primary source. Now there is secondary source, like secondary source are information supplied by a person who was not a direct observer or participant to the event, object or condition. The example included that a document prepared by an individual who was not a direct witness of the an event, but who obtain his or her description of the event from someone else, is called the secondary source. The secondary source, we can collect the data from internet and from other sources, from books. These are the secondary sources. But if we talk to someone, if we observe and we capture the event, these are called the primary sources. So historical source material include document, numerical record, oral statement, and a record of the past. There are criticism of data, like external criticism and internal criticism. The external criticism involve finding out if the source material is genuine and if it possesses textual integrity, is called external criticism. On the other hand, the internal criticism concerned with the accuracy and meaning of the data contained in the document, is called internal criticism, and this we include the textual criticism. So external criticism, the question arises that is it genuine? Uh, So, who was the author and what were his general qualification as a reporter, and what were his special qualification and disqualification as a reporter of the matter related matters treated here? So, these are the external criticism. How soon after the event was the document written? This is also a external criticism. And the next is how was the document written, as well as how is the document related to the other document, is it genuine or not? So these are the external criticism. Now, there is internal criticism as well. Like, what does it mean? Is called internal criticism. Like, the question arises that what was the author attempting to say, and what thought was the author trying to convey, as well as what inferences or interpretation could be extracted from the word, is called internal criticism. Next questions are also there, that although it may be genuine, does it reveal a true picture? The next is what about the writer? Was he competent, honest, unbiased, and actually acquainted with the fact, or was he too antagonist or too sympathetic to give a true picture? Next is, did he have any motive for distorting the accounts? Was he subject to pressure, fear, and vanity? How long after the event did he make record of his testimony? Was he able to remember accurately what happened? And the next question is, was he in agreement with other competent witness or not? So these are all the relatable questions. So, writing of historical research, the first step we need to understand is the effective historical writing. The next is working outline, like guide the selection and arrangement of the notes is called the second step or the outline. The third is progression, like should imply a thesis as a theory of causation to explain cause and effect relationship. Next is emphasis on major elements. The next is art of narration and science of history, like science of research and literary art are essential in the historical research because it is a work as an evidence. Next is dramatization, like should possess the characteristics of a good history. Now, what are the strength and limitation of the historical research? The strength of historical research include it is the only research method that can be study evidence from the past and it can make use of a wider range of evidence than most of the other methods, provide an alternative and perhaps richer source of information on topics that can also be studied with other methodologies. These are the strength of the historical research. There are some limitations as well, like the major use in other method of control for threat of internal validity are simple not possible in historical study. So the possibility of bias require much more than digging up good material. Historical research can only give a fractional view of the past. Some scholars contend that history requires a different method and interpretation because of its elusive subject matter. So, the absence of technical terminology include a historian cannot agree to on the extent to which they can make generalizations. This is the limitation of the historical research.